BlackRock's secret XRP move, the 2 dates you need to know. A BlackRock executive just leaked 2 critical dates for XRP, and what I've uncovered about them will shock you. While the markets appear stagnant, behind the scenes, the world's largest institutions are quietly positioning themselves for what could be the biggest wealth transfer in history. Today, I'm exposing exactly what's happening before it's too late for you to act. The financial system as we know it stands on the edge of transformation, and XRP sits at the center of it all. What I'm about to share isn't speculation. It's backed by documentation, insider information, and connections that most people have missed. Let's dive into what's really happening with XRP right now and why BlackRock, MasterCard, and even David Schwartz are sending signals that something massive is coming. BlackRock's 2 critical XRP dates. An insider meeting in LA just revealed something extraordinary. When altcoin Bali met with his BlackRock contact for coffee, he was given 2 specific dates to watch, May 1st and June 9th. While most people scrolled past this cryptic message, I immediately started investigating what makes these dates significant. May 1st coincides perfectly with Ripple's scheduled 1 billion XRP token unlock, valued at approximately $2.1 billion. This escrow release happens monthly, but what's different this time? Why would a BlackRock executive specifically highlight this date? The pieces started connecting when I discovered that BlackRock isn't just observing from the sidelines. They've quietly been working with Ripple and Onyx on XRP ledger technology. Think about it. BlackRock could have chosen any blockchain to work with. Why specifically the XRP ledger, unless they already understand its superior utility? This May 1st unlock could be earmarked for institutional acquisition. BlackRock needs to secure substantial XRP reserves before launching an ETF, and Ripple can sell directly to them at negotiated prices rather than moving the public market. Then there's June 9th, which falls exactly when industry insiders are forecasting potential XRP ETF announcements. Over 11 institutions have already filed for XRP ETF-like products, and BlackRock's entry would trigger an institutional avalanche. The world's largest asset manager doesn't make moves like this unless they've seen something extraordinary behind the scenes. The invisible accumulation through dark pools. Ever wonder why XRP's price seems suppressed despite all the positive developments? Dark pools are the invisible force quietly draining supply from public exchanges. Major institutions like hedge funds, family offices, and even nation-states are using private trading venues to accumulate massive XRP positions without moving the public price. Connext, SOX, and Kraken have all started offering these services to their institutional clients, allowing invisible buying that's disclosed only after completion. What's happening is financial brilliance. Smart money doesn't announce its moves. They accumulate silently, drain liquidity from public exchanges, and only then let the market discover there's no more supply available. When the switch flips, we'll see a vertical price discovery that will leave most investors priced out instantly. The dark pool accumulation creates perfect market conditions for an explosive move. Invisible buying pressure, shrinking available supply, and then sudden price discovery when demand on public exchanges exceeds remaining supply. The scramble to reprice will create gaps upward in 2x, 3x, even 5x moves as sellers simply disappear from the market. The military signal from Ripple's CTO. David Schwartz just changed his profile picture to military fatigues complete with US Army tags and a black star above his head. This wasn't random. The architect of the XRP ledger knows exactly what signal he's sending. The CTO of Ripple doesn't make symbolic changes like this during critical market periods without specific intent. This isn't marketing or casual social media activity. It's a deliberate message to those paying attention that we've entered deployment phase. Schwartz is signaling that after years of development, legal battles, and positioning, the XRP army is moving into active operation. The old financial infrastructure is being replaced, and the new rails built on XRP, real-world asset tokenization, and cross-border liquidity hubs are activating in the background. The global financial system, burdened by unmanageable debt and settlement inefficiencies, needs a solution that only the XRP ledger can provide. Schwartz's military imagery tells us we've transitioned from preparation to deployment. European blackouts and the debt crisis. Europe has plunged into darkness with massive blackouts affecting Belgium, France, southern Italy, Spain, Portugal, and more. While mainstream media presents this as isolated incidents, The timing alongside other financial signals reveals a different story. These infrastructure stresses reflect a system reaching its breaking point. Global debt restructuring isn't just probable, it's becoming necessary. The United States alone is projected to reach an unsustainable $65 to $70 trillion in debt over the next 2 decades, more than doubling the current $37 trillion burden. Bill Gross, founder of the world's largest bond investor PIMCO, advised moving away from paper assets like government bonds toward hard assets. Essentially a car salesman telling you to take the train instead of buying a car. When the architects of the current system start warning you about its collapse, pay attention. The Great Reset isn't just a conspiracy theory, it's becoming an economic necessity as the current financial infrastructure strains under its own weight. The question isn't if the system will transform, but how quickly and which assets will emerge as the foundation of what comes next. CME Group and MasterCard accelerating XRP adoption. The CME Group, the world's largest derivatives marketplace, is adding XRP futures contracts to their platform. This isn't just another listing, it's access to trillions of dollars in institutional trading volume. Brad Garlinghouse revealed they've signed more deals in the 6 weeks after the recent election than in the previous 6 months combined. This acceleration shows that regulatory clarity has unleashed pent-up institutional demand that's been waiting for years. Meanwhile, MasterCard's documentation on the future of remittances in South America specifically cites Ripple twice. First, for powering blockchain-based international money movement, and second, for being selected as the CBDC platform for over a dozen governments using XRP as a bridge currency. These aren't small players testing experimental technology. These are market-leading financial institutions integrating XRP into their core infrastructure. Visa, MasterCard, and American Express have all developed and tested Ripple and XRP technologies for their payment systems. The connective tissue of global finance is rebuilding itself with XRP at its center. Brad Garlinghouse's market revelation. Brad Garlinghouse confirmed what insiders have been saying. The Japanese markets alone represent a massive opportunity, with speculation that 80% of Japanese banks will use XRP. With approximately 200 banks in Japan either testing XRP or joining consortiums with XRP access, this single market could drive extraordinary demand. More significantly, Garlinghouse revealed that technology developed 50 years ago is being modernized, and the regulatory landscape has fundamentally shifted. The financial infrastructure of the United States is being rewired across payments, real estate transactions, and security settlement. This transformation isn't happening over decades. It's accelerating now. People consistently underestimate change until it arrives suddenly, leaving the unprepared behind. Why this signals an imminent XRP price explosion? Everything I've shared points to a single conclusion. XRP is positioned at the center of a financial revolution that's reaching its activation point. BlackRock doesn't enter markets without calculated precision. Dark pools don't accumulate assets without extraordinary upside potential. CTOs don't signal deployment unless systems are ready. The global debt crisis, aging financial infrastructure, and institutional adoption are creating perfect conditions for XRP's utility to be recognized through price discovery. When BlackRock announces an XRP ETF, the flood of institutional money will create buying pressure that simply cannot be satisfied with available supply. This isn't just about price appreciation. It's about being part of a global movement toward a new financial system where the assets you own become the rails the world uses to move value. The regulatory clarity is established, the technology is proven, and the institutional players are positioning. What happens next will shock everyone who hasn't been paying attention. For those who understand what's happening, this isn't just an investment opportunity. It's being on the right side of financial history. The new system is activating, and XRP stands ready to facilitate the transition. Are you positioned for what comes next?